And we want to head right out to the phone line this morning. And our conversation with Ed Patterson from Indiana County Parks and Trails, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. He is on the line with us right now. Ed Patterson, good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you with us here today, and I really, really wanted to talk with you because with this coronavirus and the COVID-19 crisis, people are wondering, what can I do? How can I get out and get some exercise, get some fresh air in my lungs? And so far, they're still able to use Indiana County's parks and trails. Maybe a little bit of limitation on them, but they're there for them, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. All the county parks and trails are open with a couple of exceptions, and they're open for general walking, hiking, bicycling, fishing, naturally with the appropriate physical distancing. That applies to fishermen also. Yesterday they opened up the trout season in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it's really important that fishermen also realize they need to keep the distancing in mind also.
Were you folks aware of the start of the fishing season? Because they intentionally kept it quiet.
I did not know. I saw people fishing yesterday in one of our parks, and I really didn't know what was going on, to tell you the truth. I got back to the office and looked up some stuff on the internet and realized that they had opened the season. So, it was a surprise for us.
Yeah, the Fish and Boat Commission deliberately did not announce that they were starting the fishing season early because they didn't want big crowds rushing out to lakes and streams, but who knows, they might get them today. Ed, one of the things...
They had them yesterday, believe me.
Yeah.
They had them yesterday already. So
they were out there already. One of the things that we got from Indiana County Parks and Trails a week or so ago was the Buttermilk Falls situation, and that really is a lesson for us, isn't it?
Yeah, Buttermilk Falls just it is closed, and it's posted as no trespassing. Due to the confined nature of the steps and the platforms that take you down to the falls, it's just not possible to provide the safe distancing that people need. So really want people to stay away from that site and go to one of the other parks, larger parks, where you can get some spacing.
Yeah.
I might add too that in our other parks, all of our restrooms are closed, and we also have closed our playgrounds too. So
yeah. Your website is one of the best websites we've seen around, IndianaCountyParks.org, and you have a great frequently asked questions section. You have one specifically dedicated to this COVID-19 situation. It's worth it to us to reiterate some of the information you passed along on that. For instance, you told us that the other parks and trails, for the most part, are open and how to move about on those. That social distancing really does apply, though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And we've, for example, out here at Blue Spruce, we've had folks out walking, and for the most part, they've been pretty good about keeping distance and, obeying, following what they should be doing. So it's been good to see. We hope that continues.
I know that you have conversations with DCNR and other folks who are able to provide you some guidance. How frequently do you hear from others who can help you to understand the need for being vigilant on our county parks and trails?
Well, it's interesting because I do a lot of just looking on the internet to see what other places are doing, and all across the country, not just in Pennsylvania. And the response has been all across the board. Some places have just had to close all their places down because of the crowding issues. Others are still encouraging people to use their parks with some reasonable precautions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been across the board, and it's been a little confusing for everybody in this business because it's just so odd how it's brought people out. I mean, we not just large numbers, but people that we never saw before.
Yeah.
With all the other places being closed, like the private health clubs being closed and the YMCA being closed, people are looking for just somewhere to get out and get a little exercise. And it's important. I think we're providing a valuable service here, and I hope we can keep doing it for the duration of this thing.
Yeah, and you certainly don't want a situation like this ever cropping up, but when they do, then you have to look for those little blessings in them, and the parks and trails have been a great blessing to folks, and maybe now people will understand what a treasure they are for Indiana County.
Boy, I hope so. This is my 43rd year, and I've been for a long time been advocating that I think it's worthwhile to have county parks and trails, and maybe this will help convince people that it is important that we have these places. So.
My son rode his bike on the Hoodlebug yesterday, and he said he was amazed at how many people were using the Hoodlebug Trail, and everybody seems to have it in their minds that we're going to keep our social distance. I think that people understand that if they don't, then the next step is to just shut them down, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, it really is going to be important that people, follow the rules and be cautious, and don't be selfish. That way everybody can continue to use these places.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so parks and trails are very popular here in Indiana County. They're popular for events as well. People hold weddings at Blue Spruce, I know, and there are other events. How have you handled that?
Well, right now we've canceled all of our buildings. Our facilities are closed for rentals, and we've got them canceled all the way through the first weekend in May, and we've also got a few others that people have canceled beyond that. So anybody that does have a rental with us, if they want to cancel their rental at this time, just give us a call, send us an email, and we're issuing refunds for any of those activities. So we've issued a lot of refunds here, unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I know that once graduation season gets here, those pavilions out at Blue Spruce, they are just crammed with people because there are all kinds of events that happen there. They should just check with Indiana County Parks and Trails to find out if that's actually going to even be available to them.
Yeah, definitely the rentals are closed, and people that are planning for coming out for a picnic, they should not come out with a large group of people. If you want to have just a few people, a couple people with you, that's fine. But we're definitely not encouraging large groups to come out. We need to keep the numbers down.
I'm sure that people, well, maybe they're not aware, but we'll make them aware that the Ghost Town Trail is the trail of the year in Pennsylvania. It's celebrating a big anniversary year this year, and there's a big event planned for that. Obviously, you got to look at that event as well, don't you?
Yeah, that was supposed to be in June. We'll have to see how it goes. It's sort of unfortunate because that was such a nice recognition, and we were starting to get calls from people from all over the place throughout the state and elsewhere. Just talked to a guy yesterday from Muncie, Indiana, that wanted to make a trip. And, we're sort of losing the benefit of having that Trail of the Year designation. So I did want to mention Fort Ghost Town Trail because it is so popular. If people go down to the trail, if they get to an area, a parking area that's where there's a lot of cars and it's crowded,
mm-hmm.
Please go to one of the other access areas or come back at another time.
Yeah.
It's important that you're out on the trail, you're distant, but if you're in that parking lot area where there's lots of other people, that might be a concern. So if you see crowding, just go to one of the other access areas.
Yeah, you're talking Sailor Park, Heshpen. What are the other access areas along Ghost Town?
Yeah, Sailor Park, Heshpen. Dilltown is the most popular. So that's one. If you're a local person, you might want to avoid Dilltown. Help us out there. Go to Heshpen. Go to up in Bentondale area.
Mm-hmm.
Twin Rocks, Nannyglow, if you want to go that far. There's lots of places where you can spread out. So Wareham is another.
I'm sure that same advice applies to Hoodlebug and West Penn and all the other trails too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can help us out. If you see crowding, just try to go somewhere else, or schedule your trip for off peak hours. We're definitely still seeing a lot of people on the typical times when you see them on like a Sunday afternoon or something like that. So try to do it during an off peak time if you can.
As we think about the trails themselves around Indiana County and our parks as well, they do take maintenance, and I know that there were plans for some refurbishments along the Hoodlebug this year. How are those plans affected by what's going on?
Yeah, we had a project to do some resurfacing on the Hoodlebug Trail. That project is still on, but the bidding of that has been delayed, and hopefully it'll still happen this year, but it's not going to happen as soon as what we would have liked. And our maintenance crew, one thing we do have maintenance people that are still working. We've got places that still need to be maintained and taken care of. So people can help us out by not littering, not leaving trash around, stuff like that. So
especially
those projects for Hoodabug. We hope that'll happen later this year. So it hasn't been canceled.
Yeah, one of the things that you know about when you're thinking about this time of the year is that we're making that transition from winter, when not as many people were using the trails. Winter weather will play havoc. It'll create puddles where there didn't used to be puddles, and there's some winter damage that has to be cleaned up, trees down, and things of that nature, and all of that still has to be taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Our maintenance crew does a fantastic job. I don't know if people really realize how few people there are and what a great job they do. And we handle 14 sites throughout the entire county, and we deal with eight maintenance people, and they really do a terrific job. I just don't know if people realize how good they are. Most of them have been with us for a long time. 30 years. One of our guys here this is his 45th year that he's been with the county park. So.
That's longer than you've been here.
I've been here 43. Yeah, he's been here 45. So
that's amazing. It really is for that small of a work crew to work that hard on these area parks and trails. And we see it in the revenue numbers and the number of visitors then when those annual reports come in. That these are true gems for Indiana County, and we can keep them open if we are socially conscious of our duties out there during this COVID-19. Ed Patterson, thank you so much for being with us today.
Appreciate the information and the time to talk to you today.
All right, anytime.